The Ambitious Radio Network. Conversations with ambitious entrepreneurs and thought leaders. Are you an entrepreneur, startup junkie, or just someone interested in improving their leadership skills? If you're looking to be motivated, inspired, and uncover what it takes to get to the next level, listening to Ambitious Radio will be well worth the investment of your time. We have weekly engaging conversations with today's most influential thought leaders and entrepreneurs as they discuss their successes, failures, tipping points, and other priceless information that you can apply immediately after listening. And welcome to the show. Good to have you right here. It is Ambitious Radio, hosted by our friend Doug Parker, talking about entrepreneurship and leadership while interviewing interesting people and what makes them ambitious. Now, you know the show wouldn't be possible without our sponsors, Grasshopper.com, the entrepreneur's phone system. You know, most of the time, small business owners need to personally guarantee any loans that their companies take out. That can be kind of tough to do if you have credit issues. So if you have less than perfect credit, go to RepairMyCreditNow.com for a free credit report evaluation. RepairMyCreditNow.com. Doug, what do we have going on today?
Today we have a dynamic, inspirational, empowering woman that delivers highly motivating talk filled with actionable items that inspire audiences to reach higher with their businesses. She's been featured on ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox, and was recently interviewed in Success Magazine. Her client list includes Ben & Jerry's, Supercuts, Merrill Lynch, and many more, although her passion is mentoring business owners that grow a high-revenue business and live a passionate life. Recently, she was named one of the top women entrepreneurs who inspire by Self-Made Magazine. Allison is the #1 best-selling author of Blast Off, the surefire success plan to launch your dreams into reality. Welcome to the show, Miss Allison Maslan. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing so great. I'm excited to be here with you.
Well, I am excited to have you. I've been planning this for quite a few weeks now, and it's just you've got so many things going on. You're so ambitious, and I'm just honored to have you on the show. You've done so many other things, and I really love to hear when I'm doing my research on the guests, all the things that they're doing and the successes that they're having, and I see how many people that you help and just the feedback that you get. It is really, really good. So we'll get into kind of what you do professionally here in the next segment, but can you tell me a little bit about you personally and what I might have missed in the intro?
Well, I was born in Oklahoma, in Tulsa, and I know you're in the Dallas area, and for us, like Dallas was big city. So I remember I went to Dallas a lot when I was younger. And I grew up in a very entrepreneurial family. My father was in the women's clothing business, and he built the largest chain of women's clothing stores in the United States that were privately owned. And so we used to travel around with him a lot. And so I think business was just in my blood from the beginning. And so I have lots of things that I love in my personal life. I'm also a trapeze artist. I'm happily married to an amazing man, and I have a daughter also, a grown daughter. But business is very much a big part of my lifestyle. It's not like I have my personal life over here and my business over there. It's just kind of all rolled into one grand entrepreneurial life.
Absolutely. Well, and you hear a lot about serial entrepreneurs, and when I was kind of researching you are truly a prototypical serial entrepreneur. It looks like you have successfully led 10 plus companies as the founder or CEO.
I have. I have a lot of passions. So I've been very blessed to have had a father that always said, and my mom as well, that you can accomplish anything that you set your mind to. And so I set my mind to a lot of things. And I, have had some incredible experiences over the years building those businesses. I sure have learned a lot in all of the ups and downs. And so I love, now my passion is really paying it forward and sharing that wisdom with others.
Sure. Now, you mentioned this trapeze artist. I'm not going to let you just slide by on that one. How in the world did you decide just randomly, hey, I want to go be a trapeze artist?
I know, it's kind of wacky, huh? I was a gymnast growing up. In fact, I had a set of uneven bars in my backyard that my gymnastic coach built for me. And I spent hours and hours as a kid just swinging on those bars. And I used to compete all over. And I just loved gymnastics. And so as I got older, I actually was introduced to the trapeze through Club Med. I went to Club Med in Mexico, and they all this I was walking around the grounds. I look up and there's this trapeze there that was just, like in the circus. And I thought, "Oh my gosh, this is incredible." And I got up there and I felt like I had come home, like I was on those uneven bars again as a kid. And so that was 17 years ago. I've been practicing almost every week going up to LA. I live in San Diego, so it's a bit of a drive to train with a 5 generation circus family. And there's a lot of Cirque du Soleil performers there, and it's just so much fun and an incredible workout. And I'm always challenging myself to get better and better, facing my fear, of course. And there's so many great analogies between the trapeze and life and trapeze in business, and breaking through your own fear barrier for me up in the sky so that I can build my confidence and break through to new levels of confidence and risks and things that I'm taking in business on the ground.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I guess that makes a lot of sense when you're flying through the air, and of course, I would hope that you've got some kind of net below you there, but it's still got to be a scary fall and those kind of things. But let's talk about a little bit over the years. Some of the businesses, the many things you've done. The more things you do, the more chances there are for failure and some of those things. So, can you talk about maybe one of the landmines that you might have stepped on through the process and how you kind of recovered from that?
Sure. I think I truly feel that the failures are a requirement if we're really going to grow and get that thick skin. And I don't even really see them as failures. I just see them as stepping stones to the next level in our life. But early on, I had developed well, I started out doing personalized poems for birthdays and anniversaries when I was in college, and I was making like $25 a pop, and I thought, "Wow, this is awesome." And then I found out pretty quickly that that was going to be a tough go of a business, and it evolved. I started doing greeting cards, and then people started asking me if I did brochures or radio, television, and I had no idea how to do any of that. I had no training. But my father always said if someone asks you to do something and you think it's worthwhile, just say yes and then figure out how to do it. So that's what I did. And so I just kept saying yes. And by the time I was 25, I had a full service advertising and PR firm. And I was working with, Fortune 100 companies, traveling all over the country and making a lot of money. I mean, it was crazy how it just, was snowballing. And outwardly, you would have looked at me and thought, wow, this young lady is so successful. But I didn't really understand the workings of a business. I was great at flying by the seat of my pants. But underneath it all, there wasn't a foundation. I didn't understand about delegating, and I was working 24/7. And my daughter was really young back then. I was in a difficult marriage. It was just a crazy time for me. And from the stress of it all, I ended up having a terrible car accident, and it was I shouldn't have survived. I mean, it was pretty bad. And when I walked away from that, I said, "That's it." Like I literally said, "I'm done with this," even though I was making a lot of money. So I walked away from that lucrative business with nothing really. I walked away from a difficult marriage, and I set out into the world as a single mom and no idea what I wanted to do with my life. And it should have been a terribly scary time, but it was actually a very exhilarating time because I made a decision at that point that everything that I was going to do moving forward that I was going to love, that I was going to be passionate about it, or forget it. Prior to that, I thought it was just about the money. And to run a business, you have to have a highly profitable business, of course. But I really believe that you have to be passionate about it. You have to be aligned with it inside and out, to truly enjoy it. Because business is tough. So you have to love what you're doing. Otherwise, you're not going to hang in there. But I believe that was a miracle and a blessing. And I learned so much from that time. So I honestly wouldn't change a thing.
That's great advice. And, everyone goes through, difficult times and difficult situations. And I love the part that you said that you don't really look at them as failures, that those failures are, they're basically requirements, and they're really more stepping stones to where you're going. And that really is great information for our ambitious listeners. And tune in after a brief word from our sponsors, when we'll be hearing more from Miss Allison about her career pursuits and her experience of becoming an ambitious entrepreneur right here on the Ambitious Radio Network.
Here's another RepairMyCreditNow.com story.
Home ownership. It's the American dream. It's a goal you've always hoped to achieve. You've spent countless weekends looking for the perfect house on the ideal block. The rates are low and you've saved enough for the down payment. Unfortunately, now the mortgage company says there's a little hitch. Okay, let's be honest. It's a gigantic, gargantuan hitch. It's your credit. And it looks like your estimated house payment will be a lot more.
www.repairmycreditnow.com.
Hello, this is Doug Parker with RepairMyCreditNow.com. Do you have less than perfect credit, a repo, maybe some late payments, a collection account? Are they being reported accurately? Studies show that over 70% of Americans have inaccuracies on their credit reports. Where do you fit in? Go to RepairMyCreditNow.com for your free credit report evaluation. And remember, your credit is your future. If you want to get started now, log on now. RepairMyCreditNow.com.
RepairMyCreditNow.com. www.repairmycreditnow.com.
As we get back into the show, let's give a shout out to our great sponsors, all3reports.com. That's all, the number 3 reports with an S.com. Many people check their credit every 3 to 5 years when they're financing a home or maybe when they're purchasing a new vehicle. But if there is an issue, it could be too late to do anything about it. So go to all3reports.com to find out more. Speaking of a new vehicle, a wise person once said, lease what depreciates, buy what appreciates. So go to AutoFlex Leasing. They offer a better way to lease your next car. America's largest independent leasing company is AutoFlex Leasing. Doug?
All right, we're back on the Ambitious Radio Network, and today we're talking with Miss Allison Maslan, and she has so many things that she's currently doing, so many things that she has done, but we're going to talk a little bit about your kind of professional adventures that you've got going on right now. So welcome back to the show, ma'am.
I'm excited. Let's keep it going.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So I see right now that you've got the CEO Success Network. Can we talk a little bit about that and kind of what you're doing there?
Yes, I work with business owners to help them grow their business. And one of the biggest challenges with entrepreneurs is that you get into business because you love what you're doing. And there is kind of a tipping point where you hit a ceiling, where you feel maxed out in how much you can do. There's only so many hours in the day. And it's, you're finding a challenge in replicating yourself, in building a team, and really scaling your business. And so I am leading an event called the CEO Success Network Retreat in San Diego, beautiful San Diego, August 12th to the 14th, that is going to target that specific challenge for business owners to help them scale their business and take it to the next level. And so if you have a business and you've been really working hard and you're doing pretty well, you've got some traction, but you feel like, gosh, I'm kind of spinning at the same level, and I'm really ready to multiply my revenue. I'm ready to build a team, get the support, and just have more freedom in your life. Because, you don't want to create a business that becomes a job. And a lot of entrepreneurs do that. You want to create a business that you can walk away from and it's still creating, it's still growing. And so this event is going to be an amazing retreat. We've attracted business owners from all over the country that are flying in. And I'm really excited about it. We have some great speakers and, on all levels of business. And then you will leave with a step-by-step strategic plan, knowing exactly what to do to take your business to the next level.
Very good. And one of the things that, as an entrepreneur myself, that we run into is there's the expense that a lot of people think about, airfare or ticket or whatever it costs to do the actual the program. However, the time, that's the biggest part that I tend to find is, check for, 2 or 3 days to go do something, because, if you're anything like me, you break stuff down into the month, and there's normally like 20 working days, and that's, 10 to 15% of your whole month. So,
right.
Can you talk just a little bit about that? Because I know that investment in yourself, and you talk about paying it forward, but really the value, of your class, absolutely, but in general of just getting out of that cycle of working in your business as opposed to working on it?
Yes, and I'm really glad that you bring that up, because the reason that I have been successful, one of the main reasons is, number one, I've always had a business mentor, always, because you're so close to your business that, and the people around you are emotionally close, and you need to be able to bounce ideas off of somebody that can really give you that 30,000 square foot view and answer those difficult questions, right? And to really grow your business, you have to step away from it, away from the distractions, away from the demands of your business, so that you can actually think and create a plan. It doesn't happen while you're there in the weeds. And so this is exactly what I do for myself. I step away just about every quarter, and I examine, where are we at and where do we want to go? And what that does is that just elevates you. It literally catapults you to a whole different level in your business. Otherwise, you just keep doing the same thing, running on that treadmill, and you're moving along, but you're just inching along in your growth. And so the investment in the time away, when you step away for 3 days and plan your business and plan your life, everything changes, and you get that back, and oh my gosh, so much more, 100-fold.
That is great information, just to invest in yourself. Now, I know that's an event that you've got coming up in August. Now, let's talk a little about other companies that you're currently working in, and kind of your day-to-day where you generate the majority of your revenue. What do those companies look like?
Sure. Well, first of all, if anybody wants to come to the event, you can check it out at ceosuccessnetwork.com. And if you use the promo code special CEO, you actually get $500 off. And so I'm doing that specially for your listeners. So
that's great information. And guys, we'll put that in the show notes if you're driving down the road or whatever the case is. But ceosuccessnetwork.com, and then special CEO for a $500 discount for our listeners. Great value there for sure.
Yeah. So as far as, where we put our focus, I run a private coaching and mastermind network called the Pinnacle Global Network. And we work with business owners all over the world. And it's a combination of ongoing private coaching. So we really develop a strategic plan for you. We work with you on the day-to-day challenges and decisions of your business. We help you create those goals financially, your projects, and help you to scale. Help you to multiply your revenue. And we also have this community of business owners. So as a business owner, one of the things that's tough is that you feel isolated. You probably have about 100 decisions every single day that you have to make. There are lots of demands, and most people, like your loved ones, your friends, like, they don't get you. They think you're probably crazy. because you work more than most and you like to talk about business all the time. And so it's important that you surround yourself with people that really get you and are more excited than you are about your accomplishments, and also help you collaborate, brainstorm, open doors to connections, and so forth. And so that's really what this global network is. It's a private coaching, and then we facilitate masterminds every single week with a very small group. And we keep you focused on what you need to achieve within your company every single week. Because you have that momentum consistently and that support, you have a lot more fun, you make a lot more money, and you just feel like you have this consistent board of directors that you can lean on all of the time. And so we have business owners that have been in this network for several years, and it's just part of their community. So I love it. It's extremely rewarding. I love the relationships that we have with the business owners, and just get so excited when we see their accomplishments.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, that's really good stuff there. Now, we touched on this briefly a little bit earlier in the last segment, but if you could go back in one point in your life and maybe tell yourself one thing or change one thing, at what point in your life would that have been, and what would you have changed?
I wouldn't have changed a thing. In the midst of when we have a crisis, and believe me, I've had several over the years. I was a single mom for a long time. And in the midst of it, it's not like you choose those things where you hit the wall, but the lessons were so valuable. And I find that the biggest growth periods in my life came out of when something went wrong. Because what it does is that it forces you to get creative and forces you to do something radically different. If things are just going along, yeah, great and okay, you don't really dig deeply, and you don't really take those big leaps.
I love what you're saying there, and a lot of times people, when you're happy with where you're at in life, and obviously you are happy, and maybe you don't have those self-esteem issues at this moment because you got some things really going your way, but there are people out there, there are listeners that things aren't going the way they want them to sometimes, and there's things they need to do. And if you're not happy with where you're at, you have to take steps, and things just like this CEO Success Network. You've got to get involved and change something, do something different. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. And it's really great I love it whenever I hear somebody say that they wouldn't change anything, because even though the most difficult times they've gone through, that they didn't like them, they didn't enjoy them, but it helped them grow that thicker skin, as you said earlier, to get to the next level and get through it. But if you're in one of those situations right now that it doesn't seem to be, the trajectory is not the direction you want to be going, you just got to look and say, hey, what can I do? I can't do anything about the past. Even if she'd have told me 10 things she wanted to change, Allison couldn't go back in and change one of them, because you can't go back in time. It's really on the move forward. So with that being said, we have already wrapped up another segment on here, and I'm so appreciative. Great stuff for our ambitious listeners. And if you like what you hear, let 2 or 3 people know right now. Push the pause button and say, hey, guys, check out this show. We've got a great guest on here today, and she has so much experience. We'd love to let others hear about it. And if you want to be notified of new shows via text, you can subscribe by texting the word ambitious to 69922. Again, that's the word ambitious to 69922. Standard messaging rates apply. See the website for more details. And after a break, right in a minute, we'll be getting right back with Allison and hear more about what she's planning to do next on the Ambitious Radio Network. Hey, ambitious listeners, you hear us interviewing entrepreneurs all the time, and there's a common theme. They want to be more productive and improve their communication. As an ambitious entrepreneur, you're always on the go. So turn your mobile phone into a business phone system with Grasshopper, the entrepreneur's phone system. The Ambitious Radio Network recently partnered with Grasshopper to offer our listeners a special discount. Log on to ambitiousradio.com and click on the Grasshopper banner in the bottom right-hand corner. Get a new business number or keep your current one. Sound professional with a main greeting and multiple extensions that forwards callers to your mobile phone or others in your organization. Get a toll toll-free number or local number for your business with multiple extensions. Set up each extension with custom call forwarding to any phone in the world. Get your voicemails emailed to you as an audio attachment or transcribe an email. Keep business calls separate from your personal calls. Plans start at $12 a month with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Remember to click on the Grasshopper banner at ambitiousradio.com for a special discount for our listeners. Join the over 150,000 small business owners that have stayed connected with Grasshopper. See how Grasshopper works? It's the entrepreneur's phone system. Turn the world into your office.
Back in here on the show, it's Ambitious Radio Network. Hey, are you thinking of expanding your business but don't want to spend tens of thousands of dollars on a new phone system? Consider Grasshopper.com. You get to keep your existing number, you have multiple extensions, voicemails transcribed, and no new hardware. Grasshopper.com is the entrepreneur's phone system. Let's get back to the show with Doug Parker.
All right, we're back on the Ambitious Radio Network talking to Allison Maslan, and she is an expert in business, having rounded over 10. She is truly a serial entrepreneur. That term gets thrown out a lot, but she really has walked the walk and talked the talk. And really what I'm interested in on this particular segment is kind of what's next. I mean, if you've done 10 already, what's in the future for you, ma'am?
Well, what I love is that it was time for me to do a new business. I'm very creative that way. And people started asking me, Allison, how do you do it? Can you teach me? And so I, just began helping business owners, and then it just evolved. And then, of course, I developed this Pinnacle Global Network. And now I feel like that I am taking the best work that I have done, like all the years of wisdom together, and now helping others grow businesses and make an impact on their families, their communities, and globally. So, I don't see doing anything else for quite some time. I mean, this takes a lot of energy and the focus. I have a big team, a team of coaches and my in-house team in marketing, and it's just so rewarding and so much fun that we have plans to go global. My target is that we'll be doing an event in London next year. And so that's really, where my head is at this point.
So when you talk about going global, and what's next could very well be, it may not be a new business, it may be just a variation of your current business model and going global. So you say you've got something in London, which I'm not a rocket scientist, but I know they speak English in England, and so that makes it a little bit easier. But if you talk about globally doing it, have you looked at some of the linguistic issues you may have, or are you getting mentors or business folks in those areas where you're looking at that speak the other languages? Anything you've ran into there?
Sure. Well, in our current program right now, we have had we've had several from England that actually fly to San Diego. We've had members from Australia flying to San Diego, and obviously those are English-speaking countries, but we want to be able to expand because I really feel like there is a need out there. There are entrepreneurs all over the world, and I believe entrepreneurs have the power to change the world. We have ideas, we have inventions that can help people heal, that we can help with a lot of the challenges that we're having around the world with hunger and water and environment and all of those things. And so I want to foster that. That's my way of creating change. So as far as how the model is going to go in the different countries, we're not quite sure yet, but we have a system that works, and our coaching system works for business owners. So we will be replicating that. And obviously I can't be in every single country, but we're training other coaches under me that will most likely speak those languages to be able to expand. But we'll start with London. That makes it a little easier because it is English speaking country. But gosh, there's so many countries out there that I absolutely love, and I want to make a difference there too.
Sure, sure. And when it comes to mentoring, you mentioned it briefly, having a business mentor and people that are not kind of in the emotionally attached to what's going on. But can you give us a few steps towards, how to select a business mentor? And I know you've got your professional services that you offer, so maybe you can talk about how you marry people up, with one another and those types of things, or just generally if someone maybe is not full-blown ready to sign up for a program, how they would select a business mentor.
Sure. One thing I will say, the sooner that you can get a business mentor, the better. And it's the same thing like when people say, I can't afford to get an assistant. The sooner that you get help in your business, the faster you will grow. So you can't look at it as spending, you have to look at it as investing. And when you invest, when you put your money into the bank, you might make, if you make a 2% interest, like that's big. But in your business, you can make 10 to 20% interest. And so it's truly the best investment that you can make. Plus, it's something that you can flourish for a lifetime, even pass down to your family. So, if you're choosing a mentor, what I recommend is finding somebody that has done it before. There are people out there, and this is in any profession, so I'm not just saying in business, but that get a certification but really haven't had a business before except their business coaching business. And what you want is to work with a team or somebody that has been successful in business and is sharing that wisdom. That's really what a mentor is. And also find somebody or a team that you feel a good rapport with, that you feel like you can be open with, that you can share how you feel, because business impacts every part of your life. And if you're holding back, then you're not going to get the full benefit of working with someone. So you have to really like them. You have to really feel like you can trust them and be comfortable. And just make sure that it's something that you really resonate with and that you're excited about, and that you're willing to take good advice. I will tell you right now, I do not know everything. I am a forever student, and I will continue to learn as long as I possibly can. And to me, that's what makes business so much fun. So you also need to be coachable and willing to take that advice and put it into action. Otherwise, it's kind of a waste of time and money.
That is great information. Do it quick, pay attention, be coachable, find people you're comfortable with that you trust, and get to it. I mean, that really makes a lot of sense. Now, I love the part you talked about investment. So many times we talk about what does something cost, and we don't look at it as an investment because for whatever reason we just have dollar signs in our in our eyeballs. But when you look at it and you say, hey, what is with an investment, you're looking for a return on that investment. And so I love the way you went through that and said, you might get a 2% return on money in the bank or whatever the case is, but you can get a 20 or 30% return on it in your business. And that is just great information. As we wrap up this segment, could you maybe share a little bit about maybe one of the best investments that you have made? And it can be in time, it can be in money, or it could be in someone, just generally a great investment that you've made over the years.
Oh, that's a really good question. Let me see. I mean, I have a coach. I am in a mastermind, and I invest quite a bit in that because, and I love being around other successful business owners. I really invest in my relationship building. And so there's a great story of Onassis. Um, that Jackie Kennedy was married to, the shipping magnate, and somebody asked him if he lost all his money, like tomorrow, what would he do? And he said, I would get 3 jobs, and I would to make $500, and once I had that $500, I would spend it on one meal. And what he meant by that was he would take that $500 and put himself in an environment of successful people sitting at a table and having conversation, because that is where business growth is in the connections and in the relationships. It is not a soul journey. It is a journey where you build relationships with potential clients, relationships with potential employees, relationships with your vendors. And by connecting with people on a personal level, that's where the doors open. And so I am constantly looking for ways to get in front of the right people so that it just explodes your growth. And that's why I have this mastermind program. That's why I lead these kinds of events, is for people to come together and build those relationships. And I have so many stories. Like I have one of my clients had a dream of building this farm kitchen in Northern California, and selling organic food. And it's like a marketplace. And it was just a dream when I met her. She'd been an attorney, and she told me about it. And I said to her, "Are you going to be one of those people that always talks about something and doesn't do it?" And it kind of pissed her off. And we laugh about it now, but she was like, "Well, I'm going to prove to her." So she was in my program, and she ended up collaborating with several people in the program to build this 5,000 square foot market. We had one entrepreneur built the doors, these beautiful doors. Another one did the refrigeration. Another one designed the kitchen and the menu. And now she's got this thriving market and realizing her dream. And that would not have happened if it wasn't for, she had to take the leap and go for it, but also the community and the relationship. So that has just been the best investment for myself and my clients.
My goodness, that is great information and great advice to get engaged. I mean, guys, you can be listening to this all day long, but if you don't take this information and apply it and do something with it, then it's just entertainment, like watching, the TV or something. So great information. Get you a coach if you don't have one. Get somebody to hold you accountable. And get around people. We hear it all the time that you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So get around people that are more like what you want to be like, and it'd be amazing how that will rub off on you. So just ambitious times here. And after we hear a brief word from our sponsors, we'll be discussing more with Allison, what she does to recharge her ambitious body, mind, and spirit right here on the Ambitious Radio Network.
You get the most for your lease with an Autoflex lease, yeah.
When you start shopping for a car, you go in thinking that this time you're really going to get a great deal. Then the haggling starts. You have to fence with the salesman over the price, then verbally joust with the finance manager over the interest rate and all the extras they want to sell you. By the time you get out of there, you're glad to have escaped with your watch and rings. Stop the insanity. There's a better way, and that's to lease your next car from Autoflex Leasing. Call the leasing specialist at Autoflex, and you'll find that getting your next car can be fast, easy, and fun. Your Autoflex specialist leases all makes and models, both new and used. They'll also pick up your trade-in for an appraisal and deliver your new car to your home or office. Imagine leasing your next car and never having to go to a dealer. Happens every day at Autoflex Leasing. To see for yourself, call Autoflex today at 817 or 972-234-1234 or reach them at Autoflex.com. Autoflex Leasing, a better way to lease your next car.
Autoflex lease, oh yeah.
And we're back in here on the show. It's Ambitious Radio Network, recharging the ambitious mind, body, and spirit, made possible by RepairMyCreditNow.com. Having bad credit can be really draining. It's okay to not be okay as long as you're on the road to being okay. Let RepairMyCreditNow.com help get you back on track. Many of our ambitious listeners prefer to listen to books as opposed to reading them. Now, with that, we've teamed up with Audible.com to offer you one free audiobook. Just go to AmbitiousRadio.com, click on the Audible banner on the page to find out more. Back to the show now with Doug Parker.
All right, today we're talking to Allison Maslan, and she is a successful entrepreneur. She interviews folks herself on a TV show. She's been recognized and featured in so many different TV shows and other things. She is an entrepreneur that has been part of 10 separate businesses that she either founded or was the CEO of. I am so excited about talking to her today, and we're wrapping up the show. It's hard to believe, but with that many things going on, I know you get drained from time to time, so we'll talk a little bit about how you recharge. So let's talk about that for just a moment. Whenever you're really kind of hit a wall, what do you do to kind of get back on track again?
Well, over the years, I have hit a wall, definitely a few times. And I learned the last time I really hit a wall, let's say about 4 years ago. And it was, again, a big wake up call for me that I had to do things very differently and to catch myself before that would happen and just take really good care of myself. And I do that. I nurture myself a lot. So I'm a night owl, and I had a very bad habit of staying up and working till like 2, 3 in the morning, and then I would feel like I got hit by a train the next day. And so now I try to go to bed earlier and get at least 7 hours. If I can get 8 hours, I feel like a different person. And then I exercise a lot. I've had the same fitness trainer for 20 years. He's an ex-Marine, and he pushes me hard. And the endorphins from that, and those, in some of those workouts, I'm like, oh my gosh, if I can get through this, I can get through anything. But it keeps my blood pumping and my heart strong. And I think it's super important to drink a lot of water, to eat healthy. And, I mean, I have my vices like everybody. I love chocolate and chips and salsa and, all that good stuff. But overall, I really look at, what am I feeding myself? Is this going to give my body value? Is this going to make me feel good and feed my brain? And at the pace that I go, I have to eat well. And, and as I said earlier, I get up on the trapeze as well. When I'm there, I'm not thinking of really anything. You can't be 35, 40 feet up in the air and be thinking of tweeting or clients or anything. You have to be very present and focused.
Right.
So,
Yeah, definitely need to be doing that when you're swinging around up there. You don't want to be multitasking when you're doing that.
no, and I think it's important to have other passions besides your business. I think you need to become very mono-focused and kind of boring, actually, if that's all we're doing is working. It's not healthy. And so take vacations. I'm a big believer in taking vacations. I think I had one of my clients in this last year. He took his first vacation in years and ended up that month was his biggest financial month ever. And he'd been in business for 20 years. You get re-inspired, reinvigorated, and excited about your business. You become actually more productive, and you get more creative ideas when you're away from your business, I believe.
So let me ask you this, and we've got maybe 5 or 6 minutes in this segment and before we wrap up, but so as an entrepreneur, so sometimes that's easier said than done. Now, as a coach, you're looking at it, from the outside looking in, but you've also been an entrepreneur, so it's not the old theory of those that cannot do teach. That's not what you're doing. But my question is specifically, as an entrepreneur, you think that you're doing all these things and it takes you to make it happen and all those kind of things. And if I take off, it may not work like it needs to. But you've seen it happen. It sounds like, time and time again, if you can recharge, that you can really be even more productive. So can you talk about that kind of decoupling of, okay, taking that, how did you get that guy to take a vacation after it'd been 20 years of him not doing it?
Well, kind of really holding his hand to the fire and saying, I want to hear you made those reservations. I mean, that's what a good coach is, holding somebody accountable. But I think it's just we get into a rut of doing the same thing over and over. And you get into a business because you love something, you have a passion for it, and then you kind of become chained to it if you don't set it up properly. And that's why we talk about learning to scale your business. And at any budget, you can begin to build a team, because as the CEO of your company, you need to be working on the business, not in the business, and to be able to step away. And, it's getting that support, obviously, so that you can leave, but you want to have a business model that's making money while you're away, making money while you're asleep. That's not just coming to a dead halt. And, that's where getting the support and learning how to do it instead of trying to figure that out on your own. But I'll tell you what, it's a great feeling to be away and see that your team is able, that you've been training them, that they're able to handle it. And I think it empowers them. It empowers other people to, if we're micromanaging all of the time, it doesn't really build the confidence of our teams. So I just think it's beneficial in so many ways. And it's just, gosh, I think it's essential. It's absolutely essential to get away. I mean, start with the weekend, start with 2 or 3 days away and inch up to that longer couple-week vacation.
I've got a friend of mine that he basically kind of did something similar to that. He was always pretty decent at taking vacations, but one of the things he worked, pretty much 24/7 other than that. And so a while back, he started slowly taking off Saturdays and then Sundays, and then before he knew it, which was kind of a backwards way, seemingly to how some people do it. But anyway, he totally checks out for the weekend and doesn't respond to emails, doesn't respond to text messages, doesn't do anything business related.
When you played as a kid, you didn't take your homework with you,
right?
When you were playing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of the same concept. I mean, it's not really a real vacation if you're still working.
Right.
So
that makes sense.
If you're away, maybe work it out where you say, okay, on one day at 5:00 that you're going to call in and check. And, that one time is coming, and just step away and everything will be there when you get back. I learned the hard way. I went on vacation one time and something happened with a client, and I was so worried about it and I was obsessing about it. And it honestly ruined my vacation. I was in Bora Bora, and here I'm thinking about work. And I get home and everything was fine. And I learned from that again, some of those lessons, like, that's it. I am not going to do this again. I'm really going to unplug when I go away. So I highly recommend that.
Well, that is great information, and here we are wrapping up now. And for our ambitious listeners, if they wanted to engage with you in any way, are you social? Do you have? Are you on LinkedIn and Facebook and those kinds of things?
Oh, definitely. I'm really active on Facebook. You can find me just Allison Maslan, or facebook.com/Allison's fans.
Well, we'll put that information in the show notes as well, and that way folks can engage with you. You truly have given me a lot of great information, and I know our listeners will love it as well. And, just in closing, I did, do a lot of research in preparation for this, and I watched a lot of the videos that were not content that you had put together. They were videos of real people that had gone through your program and had engaged with you, and they were so energetic and excited, and just, it was really good to hear them say, how they really enjoyed the programs that you had exposed them to. And so I always love that whenever you really have that, kind of don't take my word for it, but listen to what other people are saying type stuff. So it's lots and lots of good information out there, and we really do appreciate you coming on the show.
Oh, thank you so much.
Well, thank you, ma'am. Have a great day. And guys, tune in on Wednesdays to Ambitious Radio, where we interview thought leaders and exciting entrepreneurs that are changing the faces of their organizations. Remember, you can make money or you can make excuses, but you cannot make both. So go out there and be ambitious.
Thank you for listening to the Ambitious Radio Network, hosted by serial entrepreneur Doug Parker. Join us weekly as we have engaging conversations with ambitious entrepreneurs and thought leaders on topics that can be applied immediately after listening. Like what you've heard? Listen to other interviews at ambitiousradio.com or subscribe on iTunes.